Okay. Um,
Okay, have you gotten it?
I'm
Yes.
still on it.
Okay, yes, it has
Okay,
come.
has it come from his end?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Yes. Okay, thank you. It's better for me this way. All right. So, okay, so before we go into the foundations of freedom writing, before we talk about what freedom writing really is, let's talk about writing. What really is writing? So please, I would like to hear from us. I don't want to be the one speaking alone. I know that we are here to learn, but from your own layman knowledge or from your own deep knowledge of writing, can anyone just give me what they feel writing is? Can you drop this in the comment section? I'd like to read your thoughts. What do you think writing is? What do you think writing is? I want to be sure we are together. Yes. What do you think writing? What is writing to you? What is writing to you? Okay, I'm trying to see. I'm not seeing, okay, someone is responding, yes. I'm seeing writing is an expression of the mind on paper, yes. Yes, it's an expression of the mind, yes. Any other person? Anybody else? Anybody else? What is writing to you? Okay, I think writing is an expression of one's ideas and feeling on paper, yes. Writing is the process of creating and communicating. Beautiful, yes. Every one of us were right, yes. And sincerely, you have already defined what writing is. Can we have my first slide and let me give you my own definition? Writing is an art. Writing is an art. So we must first know that, yes. And yes, it's a means of expression. It's a way you pass your thoughts to other people. It's a way you let other people know what is running through your mind and what you want to say about a particular situation, about a particular opinion, your opinion. So it's more like documenting what you are saying. So writing is documenting what you are saying. So it's an art. It's a process of expressing your thoughts and ideas. And it's a way of communicating through a permanent medium. And that is one beautiful thing about writing. When you speak, if what you are saying is not recorded, nobody else will be able to refer back or remember word for word or 100% of everything that you have said. But when you have written something down, I have publications from 5, 6 years ago in the newspaper that I kept and I still have them today. That sometimes I go back to read them and look at it and I'm like, wow, so I wrote something like this at this year. So this is what I wrote. This was my thought then. Even on, if you, for instance, if you are someone that is very very active on social media, if you are someone that writes on social media, if the Facebook brings back what you wrote 5 or 6 years ago, sometimes you laugh at yourself and say, what was I thinking when I wrote this? Was it really me that wrote this year, this particular period? So, and that's the beauty of writing. And sometimes what you wrote then might still resonate with you now, and you go back and look at it and say, wow, so I was thinking like this back then too. So you understand me? So the writing is beautiful because it's something that is permanent. Except you go and delete it or you tear it off anywhere it is published or anywhere you have it. As long as it is on that medium where you posted it or where you sent it to, where you published it, writing is forever. And that is why writing is an art that every human being should learn. Every human being should be able to write. Yes, and not just write. Everyone should be able to write convincingly. You should be able to write and draw the attention of readers. Not You may not capture the attention of everybody because not everybody is your audience. That is one of the things you are going to learn in this fellowship. When you are writing, you must target a particular audience. You must know your audience and you must be able to capture the attention of your audience. So yeah, so writing can take many forms. Writing can be in form of storytelling. It can be in form of creating essays. It can be reporting news and it can be composing poetry. The goal of writing is just to inform, and you can also entertain. Writing can be for entertainment, it can be to persuade and reflect. So for the purpose of freedom writing, we'll be focusing more on writing as a means of informing, persuading, and reflecting. So let's move to the next slide. We're still going to be talking about writing because this is the foundations and this is the first course you are taking in this fellowship. So you need to understand the foundations of writing and what writing really entails. So sorry, this is a little bit tiny, but so these are the different genres and forms of writing. So writing are in different forms and genres. So we have creative writing. So creative writing involves fiction and non-fiction. I know we know the meaning, but let us just brush our minds again. Let me refresh our minds again. So fiction writing is the kind of writing where you come up with the stories on your own. This is not something that truly happened. It's just like writing a story. It's not something that truly happened. It's something that you imagined, and like writing from your imagination. And the beautiful thing about fiction writing, the beautiful thing about fiction writing is the fact that it pushes you to think deep. How many of us have ever tried to put our imaginative ability into test? How many of us have tried it before? You can respond in the comment section. Have you tried to imagine things? Do you imagine things? Yes. How, if you want to score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong and how deep is your imaginative ability? I want to see your answers in the comments. How deep is your imaginative ability? How deep? How can you? How good are you with imagine? If I ask to imagine, okay, imagine yourself in another planet. Can you do it? Can you do it clearly? Is it something that you can do? 9/10. Wow. Not a. Now, Castiana says 8/10. Wow. Okay, this is good. It's good. That means you guys are really exciting people. That's nice. Okay, so if you, creative writing, fiction makes you imagine. 7/10, Albert. Okay, that's equally good. Fiction is a genre of writing that pushes you deep into the imagine. You imagine things. For instance, you want to write about child abuse, but you don't have a real life story that you want to use to write. So you want to imagine a child being abused by his or her mother, or by his or her stepmother, or a child being abused by his or her father, stepfather, or something like that. You have to put in your imagination. You have to be able to craft the story, and it must appeal to whoever is reading it. So that is creative writing. So that is creative. So you see, creative writing is in short stories, writing short stories, novels, character development, plot structure, all of those things, they delve into your imaginative ability. So another form of creative writing is non-fiction. So non-fiction is where you tell a story as it is. You were an eyewitness to an accident that happened. You saw an accident happen on the road, or you saw a government official slap somebody on the road, and you want to write about it. You want to expose that, and you want to talk about the ills of society in that particular situation. You must be able to craft and explain that story, how it happened. In the process of writing non-fiction, in writing, it is allowed to embellish a bit. But you can call it exaggeration, but it's as long as what you are doing is trying to 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 convince your readers and to catch their attention, and you are trying to picture a situation that is deep. You are trying to picture that, oh, police brutality is very, very real, and the police are so terrible. You must explain it deeply. You must put yourself in the shoes of the person that was slapped and write it as it is. So that is non-fiction. Then we have poetry. There are people who communicate their information, and there are people who are able to express themselves better through poetry. Yes, I know a lot of poets, and I know people who can write articles and at the same time write poems. But there are people who can just write poems. They cannot diversify. It's not a problem. It's just like their own ability. That's the art that they have developed over the years. Yes, writing can be innate. I should have said this earlier. Writing can be something that is natural for you. Like, we have natural abilities that many of us possess. For instance, people that act movies, there are some people that are natural actors, and there are some people that that they had to learn the skill over the years. They had to years of practice, go to the school of less acting and learn it. But there are some people that they have just raw knowledge. They are just raw talents. There are people like that. So it is the same thing in writing too. So we have people that have the raw talents and the raw gift of writing poetry and even rendering poetry. And there are some that have to learn it. So, but it depends on you as an individual. What particular genre of writing do you want to focus on? We will go into that later on as we go further in this particular fellowship. But for today, I'm just introducing everything to us. Then we have creative nonfiction. So this is an hybrid, is an example of what I just said earlier. It's an hybrid of you telling what happened truly and still trying to add to it, like embellish the story. So it's like using storytelling to say a true event of what really happened. It's possible that it's possible that you had essays. Okay, maybe you did not really experience a policeman assault a man, but you were told and you want to write about it. So creative nonfiction is an example of you imagining it is a true life story. You are holding on to the facts and the information you got concerning that particular event, and you are still adding to it because you want to push the narrative deeper, and you want people that are reading it to really relate with it, and you want to catch their emotions. You want to get into their heads and their minds. So that is what creative nonfiction is. So another type of writing is journalistic writing. So for the purpose of freedom, for writing for freedom, they are going to need journalistic writing a lot. They are going to need creative writing, the ability and the knowledge of this. You don't necessarily need academic writing, but yes, you might need academic writing too, because academic writing involves research. Yes, so when you want to write for freedom, so you need to research. You need to know about what happened in the past years. You need to know about governance. You need to know about how the society has been run over the years. You understand me? So you actually need the knowledge of the past. You need historical knowledge. And this is what academic writing does. Academic writing makes you research. Academic writing is when you are writing all these theses, when you're writing your final year projects. I'm very sure many year who are in the university have already you must have experienced academic writing at different levels of your education. Even if you are still in school, you are still going to be writing academic. And academic writing is very, very technical. It's more technical than other types of writing, other forms of writing, because you have to know what you are writing. You cannot say what didn't happen. You cannot say that something happened in the year 1955, whereas it happened in 1950. So academic writing pushes you to really, really research. And there are so many avenues of research. You can ask from adults who were alive when this event happened. You can go on Google and find out information. You can you can use apps on the internet. You can use a Google Scholar. Google Scholar is very, very good for people who are into academic writing. I'm recommending Google Scholar. I'm still going to talk about some other applications that you can use for writing. Well, let's just talk about Google Scholar currently now. Google Scholar is this particular app that gives you access to a lot of writing materials. It gives you access to people's works over the years, what people have done on different topics, academic topics, so that you can easily go through them and get your own information about a particular thing. So for instance, if you're writing your final year project or you're writing a thesis, you need to use Google Scholar and you need to be able to write well as an academic writer. So that is academic writing. Then professional writing. Yes, professional writing is also very similar to academic writing. Creative writing, you may not be a professional writer. You might just be someone that just wants to put down their thoughts and their knowledge on paper. You understand me? So you don't have to be a pro to be a creative writer. But for professional writing, writing proposals, writing grant proposals, writing, you want to write something that is going to fetch money. You want to write something that is going international. You cannot write that casually. You can't do that. So you need the level of knowledge to be able to write professionally. And that is a topic for another. This is a separate topic on its own. So technical writing is very similar to professional writing. And technical writing explains the writing user manuals. For instance, those that your television at home, your washing machine, your iron, your appliances that you use, your computer was written by a technical writer. So a technical writer may not even be someone that has the knowledge of writing. It might be an engineer, just wants to write the specifications for a particular machine. Once you want to write specifications, you want to write a guide on how to use the particular machine, all you have to do is just put it down. Okay, after you click on the plug, when you want to arrange it, you put this on the top, this is at the bottom. It's just like writing instructions. That is what technical writing is about. But for the purpose of freedom writing, writing for freedom, they are going to need their knowledge of journalistic writing, academic writing, and professional writing. Creative writing is needed too. You don't exactly need technical writing, but you have already gotten the genres of writing. So let's go to the next slide, please. I hope we are following. I hope we are not tired, we are following. The next slide, please. So yes, the writing process. The writing process. First of all, for a layman, even if you don't want to eventually become a pro at writing, the first thing that precedes writing is brainstorming. The first thing that precedes writing, brainstorming and having a thought and idea. You cannot write when you don't have an idea. You have to have an idea first. You cannot, you understand me? You can, permit me to say empty brain. You cannot write if there's an empty brain. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. You cannot write if there's an empty brain. You have to have thoughts. Something must be in your mind that you want to put down. Is it that you want to talk about gender equality, gender inequality? Do you want to talk about how? Okay, let me go into something less, not as complicated as that. Do you want to talk about the woman, the mind of a woman, how a woman thinks? Or you want to talk about how a man thinks, or you want to write about human beings generally. You understand me? Those are thoughts and ideas. So if I have the first thing that has to happen before you can write successfully is have an idea. And that is brainstorming, mind mapping, outlining and organizing your thoughts. So after having that idea, you go next into outlining. I always advise writers, especially upcoming writers, even professional writers must do this. Before you write on anything, you must be able to make an outline. An outline is itemizing, okay, this is number one. Number two, this is the first thing that I want to write about. First, I want to define what a woman is, who a woman is. Or you might want to start with, okay, biblical knowledge. Maybe you want to take it from the biblical angle. How did God form a woman? That can be the first thing on that outline. Then followed by, who is a woman medically? Then followed by, okay, what does the society think of a woman? You understand me? Then from there, how does a woman think? How does a woman relate with her male counterparts? Different ages of women, as a girl child, as a teenage girl, do you understand me? So that is how you itemize your thoughts. So you must have an outline. An outline is going to help you not miss out any important information. And it's also going to make your writing process easy. It's going to make it easy for you to write, to write what you want to write, to maybe to communicate and to pass your knowledge across. You're not going to get to a point in the middle of the journey and hang there. You know, people get stuck when they are writing. I've seen a lot of people say, how do I start? I don't know how to start. Some people say, okay, I've started. How do I continue? You know, last year in Women for Liberty Africa, my NGO, we organized an LMP, Leadership Mentorship Program. And one of the courses was writing for liberty. So we gave out assignments to our participants. One of the assignments was for them to look in the society at a particular problem in the society and they should suggest a solution. One of them came back, in fact, two of them came back to meet me and say they know what the problem is, but they don't know how they are going to go about it. How would they start? I said, this is what you are learning on this course. You must start in a way. You must start from your ideas and you must outline your ideas. So outlining your ideas makes it very easy for you to put together your words and your thoughts. Yes, drafting is the same thing. It says getting your words out on the page. So when you're outlining your ideas, please do not outline them in your head alone. Write them down. I always advise a writer, somebody that is really interested in writing, an upcoming writer, or somebody that wants to pursue a career in writing. You must always go everywhere with your pen and paper. Go everywhere with your pen and paper. You are not someone you are not like every other person. A writer is not like everyone. When I was in my early stage of writing, in the early stages of my writing career, I went everywhere with paper. I don't know, it wasn't that I was told. I wasn't told, but unconsciously, I always have a pen and a narrating pad in my bag or in my purse wherever I go. I may eventually not write anything, but sometimes I find something interesting that I just want to pen it down and maybe later on develop on it. So yeah, so you must always write down your thoughts and your outlines. And you must, when you see something that catches your attention, you must write them down. No matter how insignificant they look or how small they look, just put it down. Later on, when you come across it, you may develop an idea and you may find out that you can actually bring something great out of what you have written down casually. And yeah, so revising is learning how to approach. This is finding your voice. So no, writing is like is a voice too. It's like speaking. No, as I'm speaking right now, if I want to write this down, if you are somebody that is used to me, if you are somebody that is used to how I speak, you will read it in my voice. You will read it in my voice. You understand me? So that is it. So writing is like your voice. You must get to that point as a writer where people understand they understand your kind of writing. They understand your voice, your writer's voice. When people see what you have written before saying your name, they should be able to say that yes, Kwamile wrote this. Yes, Christiana wrote this. Yes, Albert wrote this. You understand me? So writing is like developing a voice, developing clarity. So I usually advise that after you have written something down, go back and read it to yourself. Go back and read it to yourself and ask yourself, does this sound like me? Does this sound like something that I can actually say? You understand me? Because your writing voice may seem different from your speaking voice, but it is the same thing in a way. It's the same thing in a way. So editing is the next thing. Yes, as a writer, you must be able to edit. You must be able to edit your work yourself. Editing means that when you are writing, most times, you seem to be in a hurry, or you seem to just want to put the ideas down fast. You want to hurriedly put it. It happens to me a lot. I don't want to forget these things, or I'm in a hurry. I'm trying to do a lot of things at the same time, so I don't want to put this down. So you may find yourself doing things in a hurry, but at the same time, after doing that, to ensure that you are writing the right way. The writing process involves you going back to edit what you have written. How would you like it if you pick up a particular material, or you pick up the newspaper, and you are reading a particular article, and you are seeing grammatical errors, or you are seeing a broken line of thought? You know that you will get pissed, obviously. You get angry, and you may just discard it and throw it away. No, this person doesn't understand what this person is writing, or you just move away to something else. So you want your writing to be impactful. You want your writing to draw attention. You want your writing to be coherent. To be coherent means that it's following a particular order, and people that are reading it are following you. It's not that you are writing something, you are here, up here, the next thing you are down there, then you are going back up. No, 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 no. You are following a particular order. So editing means going back to read what you have written over and over again, and pick and adjusting some of the mistakes and errors. And in the process of editing, there are apps, because nowadays, everybody is now into AI. Artificial intelligence has taken over. So in the past, we used to have human editors. We still have them today. But if you don't want to use the services of a human editor, or if you feel like you are too bored, or you feel like you are too overwhelmed with a lot of work, and you don't have time to edit your work, or you feel like you cannot, because when people tell you that they cannot edit their work, and yes, I agree, you can edit your work. I'm not totally agreeing to that yet. So you can edit your work by yourself, but at the same time, you can send your work out to someone to edit for you, because it is usually good to get another opinion different from yours. What you feel is correct might not be correct in the real sense of it. So it is good to send out your written work to someone to edit for you too. So, but there are apps that can help you with editing. There's an app that I got familiar with some years back. That is Grammarly. Grammarly is a very, very wonderful tool. There's a free Grammarly and there's a paid one. So Grammarly helps you to reconstruct some of your sentences, and it changes some of the errors that you have made. It helps you to make some of your sentences that are too long, makes it concise, such that even you yourself, when you read what Grammarly has helped you, when you post your article on Grammarly and it rearranges it for you, wow, you will be impressed with the outcome. So yes, you can, if you want to know more about tools for writing, you can always reach out to me later on, and I can give you a list of these tools. So, or you can check online and Google what are the tools for writing. Okay, so proofreading, yes, it's the same thing as editing. This is a focus on grammar, spelling, punctuation, and consistency in your final draft. Please let us move to the next slide because of our time. Can I move to the next slide, please? The next slide, please. Please changing the slides for me. The next slide. Okay, yeah, so writing with clarity and precision. So it is also all of this are part of the foundations of writing. Because before you can start writing for freedom, you must start from somewhere. You cannot jump the gun. I believe that we all understand what I mean by that. You can't jump the gun. You cannot jump the process. You must start writing normally because writing for freedom writing is a kind of technical type of writing, is a next level writing. So you must start from the rudiments. That's why I'm going through all these phases of writing. So writing for different audiences. So audience awareness. I talk about knowing your audience. I talk about knowing, okay, you have jumped the clarity. Yes. So that's very similar to what I said there. So let us move to this one. So writing for your audience, you must know the audience you are targeting. For instance, if you are somebody that wants to focus on health, you must health. What particular age brackets are you focusing on? Are you focusing on young children? Are you focusing on teenagers? Are you focusing on the adults? So you yourself must understand who your audience are, so that when you are writing, you will target and face that particular. Don't just write. And if you are writing, there are some kind of writings that are all encompassing. When you talk about people that write religious writing, religion can be all encompassing. It can encompass all age groups. You understand? So that's an example. And also freedom writing. As long as you are intelligent and you are old enough to understand what is going on in your country, freedom writing should be for you as well. So when you want to start writing for freedom, the audience can be a general audience. It can be audience starting from the age 14 or 15 and above. That can be your audience, target audience. And both sexes needs the ideas and the knowledge of freedom for writing. So yes, so freedom, right, for freedom and human rights. So yes, the audience might not just be a particular age group, might be a general audience. And when you are writing for that particular audience, your tone and your voice must indicate that this is the audience. Your writing tone and your voice must indicate that. So freedom writing, I will advise that you go with the formal tone, formal, persuasive, and neutral. You cannot be informal because you are writing for a general public. You are not writing for people that know you. That's one thing. When you're writing for people that know you, maybe you're writing a story or you're writing for your team members. It is different from when you're writing to get published in the newspaper. Freedom writing for freedom generally has to be publications that will go on government pages that people in governance must have access to. So that means that you are writing for the general public. You are writing for people that you don't know. So you cannot afford to be informal. It is not advisable to be informal. So your writing must be formal and your writing must be persuasive and neutral. Neutral in the sense that you must not, I will not, opinion. So in some years back, let me give myself an example. I used to write opinion articles for Tribune, Nigerian Tribune. So I had a column that I used to write for them. I usually try as much as possible to stay neutral on issues. For instance, in Nigeria currently, there's a female senator that is being dragged because she accused a male colleague of sexual harassment and everything. So that issue has caused a lot of problems and chaos online, and even amidst a lot of people, even in the law firm where I work, that has caused a lot of issues amongst the lawyers, and everybody is saying, okay, who is at fault, who is standing on their right, who should be supported, so when you want to write an opinion article in that aspect, there's a way that you will sound neutral and you will still pass your message across. It is a craft, it's a writing craft that not all writers know. Writing opinion article, if you begin to sound biased, if your writing voice is already showing that you are picking sides, you might lose readers. You might lose especially when you're writing an opinion article. When the opinion articles are different they are in a way writing for freedom, but at the same time, it's a different genre of writing. Opinion article, you might have a particular opinion that you want to portray, but at the same time, you must not start that article making it obvious that this is your position. I don't know if you are getting me. Is anyone getting what I'm trying to say? If you are getting it, please respond in the comment section. You must be able to write neutrally. Being neutral at the same time passing your message across is a craft that not everybody knows and everybody needs to learn. The reason you have to be neutral and at the same time persuasive is because you don't want to lose your readers. You don't want, if you are already starting your article and your tone is already okay, my tone is already showing that I'm supporting Natasha Akpoti in that particular situation. Because I'm a female, I'm already sounding like I'm supporting her. I will lose readers. I will lose. So trust me, some people will even throw away they may even open to another page and stop reading what I've written. And that is not the point. You must get to that point as a writer where you pass your message across while trying not to be biased. We will learn this further in this fellowship. It is not a cause for today, but you must have this at the back of your mind, that as a freedom writer, you must be able to write convincingly while while being neutral, while trying not to be biased. Don't try to be biased. Try to think from the opposition's point of view and try to think from your own point of view. Create a balance, find a balance. It is in finding a balance that you'll be able to pass your message across, such that even the person that wants to fight you or the person that wants to go against your thoughts and ideas will be forced to actually view and reason from your own point of view, because you have already given a chance for both ideas to stand. You have already given a voice for both ideas. So that is that on that. And cultural sensitivity is being aware of cultural nuances in writing. You understand me? So for instance, in Nigerian culture, let's assume I want to write about women women who back their babies on bikes. I'm just giving an example. So the Nigerian culture in Nigeria, I don't know about Ghana and other African countries, but in Nigeria, when you are backing your baby, you use two wrappers. You use a big wrapper and you use the small, they call it oja, you use a small wrapper. So if you are not using the small wrapper, maybe because of you're fashion conscious, you just want to use one small wrapper, you want to look slay mama and be carrying your baby, the society frowns at it, and even random women who don't know you on the streets will fight you. So let's assume I want to write an article in that direction. I want to write in that direction. You know that my writing must in a way include and point to the fact that it is right for women to use two wrappers. If I don't do that, if I don't write in that direction and I write my article out, whatever I'm writing will be useless to anybody, because the society and the culture of that society says that we must use two wrappers when you are backing a baby. So even if I want to write that one wrapper is more comfortable or more fashionable, I must start by acknowledging the cultural nuance. I must start by stating what is culturally acceptable, or what the society has said, before I introduce my own thoughts and ideas into that. And at the same time, I must introduce my thoughts and ideas in a neutral way. It is more like I'm saying, okay, this biscuit you are eating is good, but have you seen this other biscuit? That is that is the meaning of what I've been saying also far. Letting people know your views at the same time being neutral. So can I move to the next slide, please, because of our time? I know we will have people that have questions because of our time. The next slide. Freedom writing. Yes, now to freedom writing. I will just go into freedom writing briefly. So writing for freedom. Does anybody have an idea of what that is? Can you drop that for me in the comment section before I continue? Writing for freedom, freedom writing. What is freedom writing to you? What is freedom? Please, can you take it back to the next slide? What is freedom writing? Okay, views. Richmond says writing about your society. Yes. Okay, so I will just, because of our time, I will just summarize what freedom writing. If you need this slide, you can always ask from Christiana. I believe she has the slide. She will share the slide with us later on. We can go through the slides. So freedom writing majorly is a promotion of freedom of expression. It is like, there is a particular human right that says that you have the freedom of expression. I don't know whether we say it generally in Africa. We usually say that a funny saying. The funny saying is that there is freedom of expression, you have the freedom of speech, but freedom after speech is what is not guaranteed, because you can say something and be arrested later on afterwards. So yes, there's freedom of speech. So freedom writing is just majorly focused on promoting the ideas of freedom of speech. So freedom writing means that you are expressing your opinion about what is happening in the society in the form of writing. It is a means through which you make your thoughts and ideas about the situation, most especially a situation that is affecting the society, your country, or your continent, for Africa as a whole. So you are making it known through writing. So I'll mention some famous freedom writers here so that we can relate properly. So many of us have heard of Chinua Achebe in Nigeria. You know about Chinua Achebe is a very, very popular writer, popularly known for Things Fall Apart. Yes, thank you, Albert. Thank you. This is writing without censorship, criticism, and yes, expressing yourself, freedom of expression generally. That is freedom writing. So Chinua Achebe is a popular freedom writer, and he wrote that Things Fall Apart. He explained what was happening in Nigeria then, the problems of colonization in Nigeria, then colonialism, and how devastated the African culture was at that particular point in time. So he wrote about the civil war in that particular. In fact, that book gave people like me that were not born at that time, That book gave me an insight of what the Civil War looked like and how our forefathers fought for political and cultural freedom. The next slide, please. I mentioned there's Amma from Ghana in the next slide. Can I have the next slide, please? I'm very sure the Ghanaians on this call will be more, but they will be more familiar with Ayikwe Amma. Can you take it to the next slide, please? The next slide, please. So Ayikwe Amma, yes, he was a popular Ghanaian novelist and a poet. So Ayikwe Amma is someone that he was one that wrote The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. So I grew up liking this book, and at a point in time, I used to think, okay, what does it mean by the beautiful ones are not yet born? What about we that were born? Are we ugly? So you understand me? So, but later on, the beautiful ones are not yet born. I think I read it once, but I didn't really read it. I was not so mature when I read it then. But I realized later on that this particular book is a work of politics. It's a political work that targeted the governance in Ghana at that point in time. So he exposed the corruption and the moral decay, but he wrote it in a form of a story. That is one thing. So you can use storytelling to write about freedom. You don't exactly have to write a technical story technically when you're writing about freedom. You can use it, because these people now, even Wole Soyinka and Chinua Achebe, they wrote the stories in form of dramas and plays, but indirectly they were trying to expose what was really happening in the society. So you can use storytelling to write about freedom. That is what you can see from these examples. So there are other examples in the next slide. We have women too. There's this woman from Kenya. Was it from Kenya now? There's this woman from Sudan. Yes, in the next slide. Please let me take it to the next slide. I want to be sure of the one I mentioned. Okay, there is Ngugwa Toyin from Kenya. Yes, Mariam Ba is a female. She's from Senegal. So this particular woman, she's a poet, and she used her poems to talk about women freedom. She talked about addressing gender inequality. And this is something that I feel like if you are a female on this particular call, if you are a female in this training, please go and read about these females. Go and read about these females. Go and read about them. Read about all of these people that I have mentioned and look at the pattern. Look at how they started. Yes, many of them were actually good writers, but you don't, and I want to use this as a medium to encourage you. Don't, if you're somebody, you're on this call and you have zero knowledge about writing, like you've not been a writer before this particular fellowship, be calm and be rest assured that you are going to make it. You can write. Yes, you can write. Writing is not something that is difficult for you. Is not. Don't write yourself off and think that, okay, this is for writer, this is for professional writer. No, 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 no. Everybody started from somewhere. So yes, you can write as long as this is your passion and you are passionate about this. All you have to do is find a niche. So because this is another thing, freedom writing may be a niche for a lot of people, but it may not be a niche for you. You understand? You can learn about it, but if you have tried to write about it over and over and you realize that, okay, maybe you're not getting it right, you might find a different niche in this particular in writing. You might discover that you don't like writing in using the storytelling voice. Maybe you are not good with stories. You are somebody that wants to write your opinion the way it is. Good. There's no law that says that this is how you must write it. This is how you must be. Just obey the normal foundations of writing. Just obey the foundational rules of writing, and you are good to go. That is exactly what writing is about. So you can be free. You don't have to feel like you don't have to see it as something Herculean or something big that you cannot achieve. No, everyone can achieve writing for freedom. Everyone can achieve writing successfully. So can we move to the next slide, please? I'm gradually nearing the end of the section. I'm nearing the end of the section. Can we move to the next slide, please? I've talked about researching. I've talked about writing for your audience. Yes, feedback. So feedback and revision, please. So feedback is very, very important. You know, I mentioned editing and sending out your work to an external editor earlier. So this is where the idea of feedback comes in. So when you send your work out to an external editor, you must be ready to receive criticism on that work. You know, you might think that you are perfect, but I would say that nobody is perfect. Even professional writers and people that have been writing for years, they have their own editors. They have people who help them go through their work. You will see it when you open some of their books. You will see preface written by this or foreword written by this person. The person that wrote the foreword is more like the editor. The person must have read that work and edited some things before writing the foreword. So it's not, you cannot write a foreword on a book that you don't know what it is about. So yeah, so sending out your work is very, very important. Even if you have written just 500 words, you have written just 2 paragraphs, show somebody and let the person give you constructive criticism. So there are different kinds of criticisms. There are people that criticize you because they don't want you to go out there. They are negative critics. There are people that criticize you and you feel like giving up and saying, oh, writing is not for me, I'm never going to write again. Please avoid those people. Look for people that will give you constructive criticism. So they are going to give you positive feedback, positive and negative feedback. So positive feedback means that they will tell you, oh, this paragraph is very lovely. You have captured the idea very well here. This is good. The grammar is okay. And negative feedback means that, oh, I've seen a grammatical error. Oh, this idea is not aligning. It's not coherent. Can you rephrase? Can you rewrite this paragraph? Can you rewrite this too? You understand me? That is the work of criticism. Peer review. Peer review means that if you are writing as a group, let's put it this way. So there are people who write as a group. If you have like 5 or 6 people in a group and you all are writers, you have decided to pick a particular topic and write on it. For instance, my NGO is collaborating with another NGO in Cameroon currently. We are writing on a policy for women, property rights for women. So it's like a group writing. What we are doing now is those in Cameroon write their own parts, send it to me, us here, and myself in Nigeria write my own parts, show it to them, and we all compare and remove what has to be removed. So that is peer review. Peer review means that you have somebody writing on something similar to what you are planning to put out. So both of you share ideas together and look together into what you have written and see how you can make it better. So it is the same thing as editing, but at the same time, both of you are these 2 ways. So peer review makes it 2 ways. And self-assessment. Now, I said this before, that even in as much as you are able to, you should be able to give out your work to someone to edit for you. You must be able to edit by yourself. You must develop the ability to edit and evaluate your own writing. How can you write something and not be able to evaluate? You yourself, when you read it, ask yourself, have I sounded convincing enough? Will somebody want to read what I have written? Will anybody want to do what I have written, or will they think this away if they look at this? So that is what feedback and revision process is about. Can I have the next slide, please? The next slide, please. Okay, so this is writing for public. Now, you must find a way to ensure that what you have written gets published. So this is one of the ways by which you can encourage yourself as a writer. You must get published. You see, writing is a wide topic. Trust me, in fact, the foundations of writing will require 2 classes for this particular talk that I'm giving today, this particular session that I'm giving today. If it were to be if it were to be a physical class, it will take longer than this. So you must not write and keep it. Don't write and just close it and keep it in your jotter. No. Writing, the second one of the things, maybe not the first thing, but one of the things that must come to your mind when you are writing a particular piece is that this piece must go out. So when you are writing with that particular idea, when you are writing with that knowledge at the back of your mind, it makes you want to put in your best and do it right. And it encourages you to continue. You must not write and keep it. When I was a teenager, I started writing when I was 9 years old. So when I got into the teenage years, I started writing opinion articles. I made sure that I usually tell myself, I say I cannot go through all this stress and spend hours putting my ideas together and writing it down and keeping it. No, what is the sense of writing then? So I started looking for avenues. I will pick up newspapers and look for their opinion column and look for phone numbers of anyone or email address that I can email. I will email them and tell them that I have written something and I want them to publish it. And believe me, it worked for me. I was able to publish in Nigerian Tribune. I was able to publish in Nigerian Compass, in Nigerian Punch, in the Punch newspaper in Nigeria. All because of this. This was how I was able to get to. I didn't know anybody in all of these newspaper companies, and I was able to get my articles published. So you don't have to. You may not start from big names. You may start from small names, or you may begin your own blog. I started my blog when I was 14. I was a teenager. I went to this cyber cafe. Then we didn't know how to browse on phones, and I didn't have access to a phone. So I usually go to cyber cafe to upload my articles then. I named my blog, my nickname then, Brownie Says Dot Blossom. So I didn't know how to go about the paid one, but I did the free version, and I was putting my articles there for years, such that I'm able to even go back and access them today. So you must find a means of expression. You must find a way to publish your articles. If you don't have anyone who wants to publish you yet, maybe they don't believe in you yet, self-publish. Like self-publish means that you publish it by yourself. Start a blog. I'm going to do another training on how to start a blog later on during this course. If I cannot do it during this course, you can reach out to me later on. I'll teach you how to start a blog on your own, because later on you can make money from your blog too. So you must be able to put out your writing, and that is how you build your writing portfolio. So that's how to build your writing portfolio. Writing portfolio means that it's a collection of your writings all over the years. And trust me, you can make money from writing. All of this that we are saying, aside from the fact that writing for freedom is going to help you to change the narrative and maybe impact your society, share your knowledge, advocate for justice, and empower or question authority, you can also make money from writing. So all of this that we are talking about is not just for the society alone, it's for you, and it's for everyone that is around you. So in conclusion, because of our time, writing for freedom is not just an act of putting words on paper. It's a powerful means of expression. It's a way where you break free from constraints. Government is doing a lot of things to stop us from speaking nowadays. You may not necessarily put it on social media. Once you write, you can even send that anonymously. I once wrote about when Boko Haram was disturbing Nigeria then. When we had the problem, a serious problem then, about Boko Haram, bombings and killing people. I wrote about it and I sent that piece to the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune. They saw the piece and they liked it, and they said to me that they were going to publish it, but they will not put my name on it just for security reasons. You understand me? So it is possible to write like that too, and write it anonymously. In that way, you have advocated for justice, you have written something to question authority, you have written something to shed more light on a particular issue, and you might actually write and put your name on it. There is freedom of expression, there's freedom of speech, so you don't necessarily get attacked all the time when you write like that. You don't get attacked all the time when you write like that. You don't get into trouble for writing like that, as long as you don't slander. Yes, libel and slander. You don't slander anyone, and these are some of the things you're going to learn on this course. Writing for freedom, you must find a way to write for freedom, to push your ideas out there without necessarily destroying anybody's name. If somebody has done something wrong and you want to point it out that this person is wrong, yes, you can put it out there that, okay, this person has done this and has done the, but there are ways where you can craft your words in a way and the audience to understand what you are writing, what you are saying, but at the same time, you are not directly destroying the reputation of the person that you are writing about. You understand me? So these are some of the crafts that you're going to learn in this course. So I will be stopping here for now. In conclusion, you must remember that when you are writing for freedom, when you are writing for liberty, you are writing for human rights and all sorts, you are advocating for peace, you're advocating for justice. But in doing this, you must at the same time find balance. Find a balance and do not, in the process of doing this, destroy anybody's reputation. And you must not put out what you have not researched. Don't put out information that you are essays. There is a lot of fake news. There was a time in Nigeria where fake news became an issue, and they said that anybody that carries that spreads or propagates fake news will be arrested and prosecuted. So yes, so as a writer, if you want to write on a particular issue, that is where the place of academic writing that I talk about, you must research. Don't just listen to essays. Don't just write from opinion that you heard people give. You must research and write what you have found out. If you don't find out deeply about a particular topic, it is better not to write about it than to write fake news or than to propagate what is wrong or than to slander someone that you shouldn't slander. So thank you so much. I will be stopping here now to accommodate questions from us. Thank you very much for listening. Is there anyone who has questions? Are there questions? Bastiana?
Hello, Mrs. Pomlishit. Please, I'm here. If you have any questions, please write them in the comment box, or you can unmute your mics and ask. and Mrs. Pomley Shetu would respond to them. So please, we are waiting for your questions.
Okay. While waiting for the questions, is there any one of us who has written and gotten published before? I'd like to know, can you indicate in the comment section if you have written and gotten published at some point before? I'd like to know, because this fellowship is continuous and I really want to know, I want to know about us better. Do we write to seek validation? This is a question. Do we write to seek validation? Well, yes. Yes and no. Let me answer that way. Permit me to answer that way. Yes and no. So seeking validation means that perhaps there's a particular you feel you are unsure about yourself in a particular aspect of your life, or you are unsure about something, or you just want to be certain that you are right about something. Maybe you have you have a line of thoughts and you want to be certain that you are not crazy for thinking this. Maybe it's not a general, it's not popular knowledge. It's not popular knowledge, it's not something that everyone will accept. For instance, I want to give an example. Maybe you are somebody that likes to eat yam and rice together. You know that's not a normal combination. So you want to write about it to get validation because you like it. So yes, you can write to seek validation, in the sense that if you write something like that, you write about what you are not sure about, what you want to seek validation on, you might get responses from people who are just like you, or people who share the same view. And that alone can put your mind at rest. Yes, we're still going to go deeper into this fellowship, because writing is therapeutic too. Writing is a way of healing. So there are people who have healed through their write-off. They wrote, they published it, and the responses they got healed them. And some people need an outlet. They need an outlet to let out what is on their minds, to talk about the pain in their heart. But by writing it down and sharing it, they felt better. So yes, you can write to seek validation, and that can bring you the idea, the validation that you need, the approval that you are seeking. And at the same time, it is not advisable to write to seek validation, because when you write and you don't get the response that you want, it might damage you further. It might damage you further. It might make you feel less of yourself, might make you feel that there's something wrong with you, when in actual sense, there's nothing wrong with being you. There's nothing wrong with being unique. There's nothing wrong with being the only person in the whole wide world who likes yam and rice. Hope you get my point. So you writing for seek validation it goes both ways. It can give you a positive outcome, and can give you a negative outcome. So I hope I have answered that question. Have I answered that question, Christiana?
Actually, I'm not the one who asked the question. I'm sure because of the link they clicked to. So maybe the person
Okay.
can mention the name in the chat
Okay, no
box.
problem. The person that answered the question, that asked that question, sorry, have I answered you? You can respond in the comment section. So I believe I've answered the question. Okay. So yes, Tajudeen says he has written in several newspapers. That's great. That's great. I would like to read some of the things that you've written. Maybe you can drop them on the WhatsApp group later on. WhatsApp group. I want to read from us. If everybody has written, if you are somebody that has written, oh, Balikis says our network is bad, sorry about that. Okay, so I believe this is recorded and you can get the recording later on. Please, Christiana and the organizers of this fellowship, please let the recordings be made available to everyone after this, please. Thank you. So yes, another one. Okay. Another one is, okay, how can writers properly cite? Yes, you can cite sources and avoid it very, very much. We have applications that you can use. There are apps that you can use. First of all, when you are writing, because you are not, if you are writing, if you are doing a creative type of writing, that is, you are writing fiction, you are writing from your head. Whatever you are writing from your head can never be flagged as plagiarized, because you are the original owner of what you are writing. You are the original owner of the idea and everything. So that cannot be flagged. But if you are writing for freedom, you are writing something that you have researched, you are putting together researches that you have carried out and things that you Googled online, that is, trust me, you will need to cite your sources. So to cite your sources, there are some apps online. You can Google it, Google and write free free citation generator. I want to type it for you now. Let me type it. Free citation generation. It's going to bring out different free applications that you can use to generate your sources. So you just copy and paste the link from where you got your ideas from. You know, when you go to the top of that page where you have gotten your idea from, you've gotten information from, you click on that link and you drop it in any of these applications that you have gotten free citation generator online, and it's going to bring out, you're going to cite it for you properly. It will cite your source for you properly. If you want me to explain better, I will explain. You can message me individually, I will explain later on. And yes, you can avoid plagiarism. There are paid plagiarism checkers too online. There are free plagiarism checkers too online. Let me type that for you. But the paid ones are more effective. Free plagiarism checkers. But the paid ones are more effective, that you have to pay monthly or yearly. So this particular plagiarism checkers, their work is very simple. What you have written, once you have written it, you copy it and you paste it into them, and they will underline and mark as read any of your articles or anything that you have written that is plagiarized. Maybe you have copied and pasted what somebody has said before. So it's going to bring it out for you so you can easily reward and rephrase it. There are a lot of applications that you are used for writing. I'm going to list them for us. I will list them for us as we continue in this fellowship. So you have to, because as a writer, you must be familiar with all of these apps. All these apps are going to help to make your writing stand out when you are writing for internationally. So I hope I've answered that question too. I've answered that question too. Does anyone have any other question to ask? Any more questions? I have an assignment for us at the end of this, because this is a continuous fellowship, it's a training. How can writers, yes, writer's block. Don't worry, in the course of this fellowship, we're going to talk about writer's block too, but I'll just give you a response now so that I will answer your question. So to overcome writer's block and stay motivated, you must not write when you are under pressure. Don't write when you're under pressure to write, and don't write when you are not in the right frame of mind. So let me put it this way. What motivates you? What puts you in a good mood? For me, I like to see movies. When I've gone through a lot of stress over all through the day, or when I'm going through a lot of stress, or when there's a lot of pressure on me to deliver this, I have a lot of things on my to do. What I do is I just switch off and go and watch a movie with a happy ending. I'm not talking about movies that will make me start crying or movie that will make you start thinking. A very simple or easy movie that has an happy ending, something that will put me in the right mood, that will make me smile and laugh. And that's maybe a love movie or something, movie about a lover and so, you understand me? Something that's going to give me a good ending, a happy ending, something that will give me, that will make my mood lifted, that will make me feel light-weighted. You understand me? So which one says what kind of movie? Okay, it depends on you. It depends on you. For me, I'm not going to do sci-fi movie when I am under pressure to work. No, 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 I'm not going to do that. Is making me think. I want to do something that's not going to make me think. You understand me? So I don't want to think. I want to relax. Something that is relaxing for me. Some people, it might be reading a novel. For some people, it might be going out to play football. Yours might be going to play football. Yours might be gisting with your friend. Just look for exactly. So look for something that is going to make you relax. If you are not relaxed, trust me, your writer's block has come to stay. It will not go. Every writer faces writer's block. If you have never faced writer's block as a writer, then you have not written to that point. That means that you have not really been writing. But writer's block means that you want to write, but you don't know how to proceed. You don't know how to go ahead. Maybe you've written a first paragraph, you don't know how to continue. Or you've written a first page, you don't know how to continue. That is what writer's block is. Just leave what you are writing, go and do something relaxing. You can go outside and play, go and see a movie in the cinema, or go watch a movie on your phone, or do something relaxed, something that makes you relax. When you have relaxed for a whole day or 2 days or 3 days, you can come back to it. That is why it is not advisable to write don't write when the deadline is close. Give yourself time to write, because this is you using your brain. Sometimes the brain wants to rest. Sometimes the brain wants to shut down. It doesn't want to think. You cannot force your brain. Yes, so thank you for that question. Okay, this one, another question says, what are some common pitfalls to avoid when developing a writing style? Common pitfalls to avoid when developing a writing style. The first thing that I will say is don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. So because I realize that a lot of people limit themselves. They limit themselves to, okay, this is the only thing I can write. No, do not limit yourself. You might be, you are capable of doing things more than you think. See, the human brain is very, very funny. The human brain is funny, and the human brain is capable of more things than we use it for. It is capable of more things than we use it for. So trust me. So do not limit yourself. So and try as much as possible when you are trying to find your writing style. Try as much as possible to test different waters. Let me use that. Permit me to use that language. Test the waters. For instance, try and write on different genres. Try and write on different genres and test and see which one you sound more convincing writing. You're going to discover on your own, trust me. For instance, if you write on health today and you see the outcome of it, you yourself will know, okay, have I written something tangible? Well, what I've written, is it interesting? Then try another genre, another day, or use a particular style today. Try storytelling style today. Does it sound good? Have I written well? Show somebody to read for you, or show different people to read for you. If they tell you that it's nice, then you can continue in that style. Or go back and try another particular style. Okay, don't let me use storytelling. Let me write it the way it is. Or let me write a creative, let me write fiction. Or let me write non, you understand me? So try different things. Do not limit yourself to one particular type of writing. And in the process of finding your style too, try and avoid using unnecessary words. Avoid using ambiguous words. There was a time I met a particular writer who thought that using big grammar was the best way to write. No, you will lose your audience if you use big grammar. I'm telling you, it doesn't sound good. It makes you look like in fact, on the contrary, it makes you look like a nuisance. When you are writing big terms, you are using unnecessary terms, and you are confusing your audience. You are confusing people that are reading you. People that are reading your work have to go and carry dictionary because they want to read your work. No, 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 no. You have lost it as a writer if that is the way you write. You must use simple terms, plain and concise language, plain and simple language, and you must be authentic. You understand? You must be authentic. What you are writing, if you are following a particular trend, for instance, if what you are writing is for a particular thing, let everything you are writing all through from beginning to the end of that particular article be for that thing. Don't confuse yourself by write against writing. Pick a particular thing that you want to follow. Are you for this? Right? Make sure that everything you are writing, no matter the style you are using, is going. So those are some of the things you need to, and avoid imitating other people's style. Yes, let me put it that way. Avoid imitation. Those are some of the common pitfalls. Limiting yourself, being over ambiguous, using ambiguous words, and imitating other people. Try to avoid imitation. But the beautiful thing about writing is that it's a unique thing. Your writing is unique to you. I don't think there's any two people who write the same way. Your writing might look similar. People can write, the writing may be similar. For instance, I can say Chimamanda's writing is similar to Chinua Achebe, but it is never the same. The way Chimamanda Adichie writes is different. Her voice is different. You understand me? So, okay, I'm seeing another question. I hope I've answered that. Is it normal to get stuck when writing? Yes, it's very, very normal. In fact, every writer gets stuck at some point. It is normal for you to get stuck and come back later. Yes, it is very, very normal. It is very, very normal. So the next question is, please, how can I identify my writing niche and stick to it without copying to others? Okay, so this is going to take time. This is going to take time. Identifying your writing niche is going to take. Like I said earlier, you must try different niche. Try and write in different. And for this particular course fellowship, this fellowship is targeted towards teaching you how to write as an advocate, a public policy advocate, freedom writing, writing about issues of society. But after this particular fellowship, you must try and find your niche. If you think that writing for freedom is not your niche, please don't force it. Don't force it. Try and write in other genres. There are different genres. There are a lot of genres that you can write on. Health is a genre. Sports is a genre. There are people that write in sports. There are people that write on sport. There are people that write on gender equality. Gender equality, that is issues of society. There are people who write. There are people who can write on I'm looking for popular genres now. Entertainment, yes. There are people who review movies. So writing is very, very wide. There are people who, what they do is they watch a movie and they review. That's entertainment, and there are people who write jokes. That might be your own niche. Jokes, poems. So don't limit yourself. The best way to discover your writing niche is through practice, experience. You must keep writing. You must try to write on different until you find that particular genre where you realize that it comes to you easily. You yourself like what you've written. After going back to it, you gave it to people to read and they came back with positive reviews. Then you have found your niche. And don't feel bad when your niche is a popular niche. If your niche is a pop, because for instance, there are a lot of people who write about freedom currently. All of these NGOs, there are most people, there are people who write public policies and everything, not just one person. So there can be many people in your niche. It doesn't mean you are copying them, as long as you have developed your own personal voice in writing. Okay, so this question. In our world today, a lot of youth lack the zest for reading. How do you tame them in writing? 90% of my colleagues will speak anything that... Yes, this is why you are very right. Oh, Richmond. Richmond is very, very right. The youth nowadays are too lazy to read. The youth are too lazy to read. So this is why you're writing. I want to suggest that when you are writing, especially when you are a beginner, don't write lengthy things. Start from writing short things, maybe 200 words. Write 200 words today or 500 words. You understand me? Don't let it not be lengthy. When something is too lengthy, you lose your... And you have to be convincing and interesting. Your writing must allure people. Do you know the meaning of allure? ALLURE. Must be alluring. Your writing must be alluring. It must draw people in. You understand me? It must draw people in. It must be captivating. You can include humor. There's a way you include humor in your writing. There's a way you include humor in your writing. You understand me? So you let your writing be attractive. If your writing is attractive, trust me, they will not put it aside. They will not put, even if they want to put it aside, once they read the first paragraph, they are drawn in. So it all depends on your skill, on how you have honed your skill as a writer. That is just it. So if you own your skill as a writer, trust me, you will have people reading what you have written and they will not just brush it aside. So another question says, I understand Africans prioritize communism over individualism. So will it be necessary to criticize societal norms, cultures, and practices in our writings? Yes, you can criticize. Trust me, there is no limit to what you can write. The only thing that I would advise is, in criticizing and doing anything, try not to slander anybody, especially anyone in government. This is just to play safe. There can be people in government doing terrible things, but I will advise that you don't slander. This is because you are just starting out as a freedom writer. Don't start out and crash before you get anywhere. So try not to put in, don't slander anybody. Be diplomatic, that is the word. Be diplomatic in your writing. Be diplomatic in your writing. So try and be diplomatic in your writing. So that is one of the things so you can criticize, but be diplomatic. I hope you get that. So yes, in fact, it's every African youth generally. They say if you want to hide anything from the average African, even Nigerians majorly, you have to hide it in a book for them. They will not read it. But trust me, there are articles. I have come across articles and I've come across readers that no matter how lengthy what they've written is, I am drawn in because their writings are so interesting and alluring. So you must always find a way to also incorporate humor into what you are writing. So that is that. I think that I have answered all the questions. I've answered all the questions. So I've answered all the questions. Christiana, over to you.
All right, thank you so much. There's one thing that Mrs. Pomley Shitu said that got to me. She said, you can write, just get a niche that works for you. So we can all write. Thank you so much, Mrs. Pomley Shitu, for that educative session. We are very honored to have you as our facilitator for the first day of the training. We have learned so much. Let's all kindly drop lovely emojis to Mrs. Pomley Shitu for that great session. Oh, it seems someone also has a last question. Please, can we get that? And whilst we drop our emojis, Mrs. Pomley Shitu would address that question.
Okay, how can writers balance clarity, clarity and accessibility with complexity and nuance? Clarity and accessibility. Clarity and accessibility. Well, so clarity is you putting out your ideas in a clear form. Everyone is able to understand what you have written. And at the same time, there are complex things that you need to explain. So I get it. And yes, but this is very simple. I have said it before. You can explain a complex situation using simple terms. Trust me, you can explain a complex situation using simple. There was one senator then we have in Nigeria, Senator Obayagbon. A lot of people zeroed him as a nuisance because he's always passing his messages across using BB grammar, and that alone, he is an intelligent person, a very brilliant senator, but because he's always doing that, nobody takes him serious. So if you want to be taken serious as a writer and you want to explain complex things, you should try and look for simple terms and try to relate them to stories. Try to relate. For instance, let's assume you want to explain. I'm looking for a term that is common. You want to explain. Okay, I don't really know what is happening to us in Ghana currently, but I believe that we all have issues with our government and everything. Because you want to explain something that the government is doing to you that you don't like. Okay, so you can relate it to a father treating his children wrongly, or a lecturer maltreating his students, something like that. You understand? So you must always relate what you are trying to explain, that complex thing. Let it be related to something relatable in your write-ups. So when you do that, you are able to pass your message across clearly, and at the same time, you are explaining something that is complex. You are explaining the complexity of that situation. So I believe I've answered your question with that.
All right. Thank you so much for that insightful session, Mrs. Pomlishetu. We are grateful, and then we hope that you join all our sessions and give inputs as well. We really enjoyed this, and we are so grateful. I would like to congratulate all applicants again for being selected. And if you are here, I would like for you to write your name and then your university and then the place you are joining from. That's very nice. We'd like to have all that information. So please drop it in the chat box. This is our first session, and we'll be having the grand finale at Alisa Hotel, a very beautiful hotel. So if you want to make it to the finale, make sure your inputs are felt and then you make it there. So going on, our next session would be on 15th of March. Yes, that's next week, Saturday, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I know some people are joining from Nigeria. I think you are 1 hour ahead of us. So yours will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So from Ghana, it's 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And our facilitator will be Bruce Kerber. Yes, and he will be discussing with us writing about economic issues. And that's what we'll be doing for next week. We are once again grateful to Mrs. Pomlishetu for this great session, and we can't wait to have you all for our next session, which will be on the 15th of March from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Ghana, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for Nigeria. All right, thank you all. I don't know if the president would like to address us, but if not, then after a minute, that this will be the end of the session for today. Thank you all for joining, and drop
Okay.
the in the chat
Yes.
box. Okay,
So
since
I
our
want to thank
president
our
address us, we'll take his input.
So I want
Thank
to.
you.
So this training is made possible by our international partners and our local partners. So our international partner is Atlas Network. It's an international organization that supports free marketing tanks. And also our local partner is Yafo Institute. That one is based in Ghana. So these are the partners who have made this training possible. So as stated earlier on, the training is going to be 6 weeks online. That's like a webinar form. Then the final session will be an in-person training whereby participants will be presented with a certificate, and they also be inducted to become professional fellows of the institute. Yeah, so this is the 2025 cohort of the Freedom Writers Fellowship. And thank you all for joining. But last one before I leave is about the YAFO. They have an upcoming event, which is the Liberty Sphere. So I'll post the link at the message column, so those interested can apply for the Liberty Sphere. They have a package for a competition prize. If we're able to win the pitch, you'll be awarded 8,000 Ghana City prize. So it's a great opportunity. So I'm posting the link there, so those interested can also apply for that policy training. So these are the opportunities that you enjoy as you become a fellow of the Writers Fellowship. So I've posted the link. So if you're interested for the policy training, which is the policy grant training entitled the Liberty Sphere from our partner, YAFO Institute. So that will be bye for now. And you hope to catch up on the WhatsApp platform.
All right.
And also next week.
So that's a great opportunity, and we all need to grab a pen. So the link is in the chat box as indicated by the president. So if you want to join the YAFO competition and get some money, and also the inputs they are given, should click the link and register. Okay. Yes. Mr. President, please, are you done addressing us?
Yes, please, I'm done.
Okay.
The rest will be on the WhatsApp platform. So those who are not interested on WhatsApp, who are not on the WhatsApp platform, those who are not on the WhatsApp platform should kindly join.
Okay, yes. So please, if you are not on the WhatsApp platform, kindly click the link in your emails and join now, so that we can keep track of all our applicants who have joined the Zoom meeting and are also on the WhatsApp platform to ensure smooth delivery of information. Okay, thank you all for joining.
And so the assignment for the week, the assignment from assignment of the week, there's an assignment.
Okay.
Have you gotten an assignment? Family.
The participants. Oh, okay. Mrs. Plumley. Mrs. Plumley, share to you, please, if you are on.
Yeah.